Fastone Goma, President for the Zambia Heart and Stroke Foundation, and we are continuing our programs in sensitizing the communities on the importance of controlling or preventing hypertension, and more so preventing the complications of hypertension, the worst of which we think is stroke. In 2018, we are actually getting to expand our membership, and we would want as many of you as possible to join us as we continue to reach out to the communities, educating them about hypertension and trying to together work on ways and means of keeping blood pressure under good control so that we prevent the complications thereof. Zambia is one of the African countries that have been said to have the highest rate of hypertension. We are saying that, both men and women are very, very prone to having high blood pressure. And like many other Africans, blood pressure rises very early in life. And so we are having people in their 20s already having high blood pressure. We would rather have means and ways of delaying the onset of this high blood pressure. And we can do that, especially in those people in whom blood pressure is related with risk factors such as weight and salt intake. But as we reach the 40s, hypertension seems to be really, really ravaging our population. Because in those populations, we've seen that the prevalence now is above 35% in both men and women. And this really is a disaster for a community such as ours, which is plagued with many other diseases, both communicable and non-communicable. As we celebrate the World Hypertension Day, which falls on 17th May, we would really want to reflect on the messages that have been going out to the communities on high blood pressure. Especially messages which are going out there to try and influence changes in lifestyle that would keep blood pressure within the normal range. We would want everyone, of course, to know that we have at hand a disease which does not pain, so to say, a disease which does not come in with many symptoms to start with, a disease which shows up when a lot of things have already gone wrong, so to say. So the only way one would know whether they have this disease or not is by having their blood pressures measured. So we would want to remind everyone of the importance of measuring their blood pressures. At least once a year, go out there, find a blood pressure machine and have the blood pressure measured. Everyone needs to know their numbers. And blood pressure machines, I think they are getting more and more now. But really, we are requesting that the government makes it priority to have blood pressure machines in all the clinics, and for these machines to be available to anyone who walks into those facilities. And so, once the blood pressure is measured, people must mind their numbers. I think once you are told that you have high blood pressure, everything must be done to bring it down. Everything must be done. One thing that we know is that there is more blood pressure in those people who are from families which have high blood pressure. And so I think that's the first thing that we need to be asking ourselves. Is your father having high blood pressure? Is your mother having high blood pressure? If the answer is yes, the chance of you having high blood pressure is also very high. And so would ask that you take time, have your blood pressure measured more regularly to make sure that it is down at all times. Apart from that, the next thing I think that we need to look at is weight. People ought to keep their weights down. We need to do everything within our powers to make sure that we are keeping weight down. There's this index called the body mass index. I think most health workers know about it. We must keep the body mass index below 26. It's very, very important that we keep it low. And at least, for men, we are saying, can you keep your size of trousers below 34, size 34. I think size 34 trousers must be the maximum size of trousers that one can wear. And for the ladies, we must keep their bodies also slim. I'm not very sure what their sizes are, but I don't think they are supposed to go beyond size 16. Okay? And so once weight is down, we must make sure that it's kept down. We need to keep the weight down mostly by regulating how much we eat. Now, most of the time, we tend to eat a lot of, especially carbohydrates, nshima, rice, bread, sugar. All these are carbohydrates. They are very bad at weight maintenance. And so if we can keep the amounts of those things down as we grow older, I think we'll do ourselves a lot of good. The thing is, after 40 years of age, metabolism tends to slow down, and yet we continue to eat the same amount of food thereafter. And so whatever food we eat gets deposited in the body as fat, and that is what brings about a lot of issues that are related to weight. Not only blood pressure, but worse still is sugar disease, which also tends to set in later in life. And so we need to look at those things. So keep weight down, we check our eating, okay? And I think one thing that has come out from the latest survey that has been done is that people are eating very little vegetables and very little fruits, which again are very, very good for maintenance of heart and blood vessel health. So we need to increase the amount of rape and cabbage we are eating. People have advised 3 big bowls of vegetables in a day. I think that's cheap and yet very good. We need to increase the amount of fruit we are eating as well, just to increase on our vascular health. But that would help keeping our blood pressures down. Then I think one of the worst enemies to blood pressure is salt. Zambians eat a lot of salt. I should say they eat too much salt. I think it's time we try to advise that the amount of salt eaten is lessened. We are given a maximum of 5 grams of salt in a day. Actually, for the body functions, we don't need more than 2 grams of salt in a day. But the last survey is showing that Zambians are eating an average of 9 grams, almost twice as much as is recommended. But there are some communities which eat up to 15 grams of salt. That's too much, it's excessive. And I mean, simple experiments can be done, sure. If you take your blood pressure and then eat a very salty meal, take your blood pressure 30 or 40 minutes afterwards, see what it's like. You'll be surprised that blood pressure can rise up so much in such a short period of time, all because of the salt you have eaten. And so we need to find means and ways of reducing salt content. For that salt which is put in deliberately at the table, I think it's high time we removed salt sellers from the tables. Let's not serve meals with any salt at all. Whatever salt has already been put in the food is adequate to make the food taste nice. So let's, I think, work towards eliminating salt from our diet as much as possible. And then we need to keep active. Physical exercise is very good for the body. And so we need to walk. Okay? We need to walk. We need to walk and walk and walk. And we are recommending a walk of up to 3 kilometers in a day. Now, you think 3 kilometers is a long distance? Actually, it's not. Very, very short distance. Just 3,000 meters. Okay? And so, walk to the shops, walk back home. Walk to the market, walk back home. Walk to the bus station, walk back home. You'll find that you can easily hit 3 kilometers. But this issue of getting into a bus, just outside your home, driving to every place you are going to, that is not healthy. If you must drive, come home early, at least take a walk after that. We need to walk and walk and walk. If we are to do active exercise, that's even better. 30 minutes of an exercise that makes you sweat is good. But even as little as 15 minutes of an active exercise, running or dancing, or like the Zumba now. Zumba is a very, very good exercise. In 15 minutes, you are all sweaty. You get rid of excess sodium. Your blood vessels, get nicely toned up, and blood pressure just comes down. All those, I think, are good things that must be done. Meaning that for us to keep our blood pressure down, we must work towards changing the way we do things. I've said a few things that must be done. One is to keep our weight down by eating well. Two is that we need to get salt out of our diet as much as possible. Three, we must keep our weight down. Keep this body mass index below 26. And do some physical exercise. The easiest of which is walking. Okay? And then we need to keep away from tobacco. Tobacco is one risk factor which crosses a lot of boundaries. And so you don't need to be smoking yourself to have the effects of tobacco. Just to be in a premise which is infested with smoke is enough to predispose you to the harms of tobacco smoke. So keep away from people who smoke, or don't let people who smoke near you. All these, I think, factors will be good for us to keep healthy in 2018, especially as it relates to keeping blood pressure down. So let's take the World Hypertension Day as a day on which we will take care of our own blood pressures, but at the same time educate somebody about the importance of having their blood pressures kept down, but more so having their blood pressures measured. Our students will be at the Great East Road campus tomorrow getting people's blood pressure measurements. And so we are hoping that as people walk around campus, they will see these people with the blood pressure machine. They will stop by and have their blood pressures checked. And each one will have their numbers known by the end of the day. So have a nice day, and let us celebrate the World Hypertension. Thank you.